rises on. أفضل يوم طلعت فيه الشمس. The best day that the sun rises is يوم الجمعة. It is the day of Friday, يوم الجمعة. Why? He gave us many reasons. فيه خلق آدم. On Jumu'ah, Adam was created. وفيه أدخل الجنة.
Nation.
أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's another beautiful Friday morning of the 19th of September 2025. A very good morning to you and welcome to Horizon TV. This is the Muslim Insight Show and my name is Zamzam Ahmed, and today my sign language interpreter is Ilhan Noor. Now we will be talking about International Day for Sign Languages that will be held or celebrated on the 23rd of September 2025, which is on Tuesday next week. And we are going to talk about the sign language. What's the key benefits of people learning sign language? Why is it so important for us to learn sign language, and the misconceptions about the deaf community? And in studio, I am joined by Osembo Kaibe, who is an educator and an advocate for deaf learners. Osembo, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you this morning?
I'm very fine, thank you.
It's really a pleasure having you here with us today to talk about the sign language issue.
Thank you.
We will also be joined later by Diana Kamau, who is the director of Sign Language School Hub. She'll join us later, but we can still move on as we wait for her to join us later. Now, Osembo Kaibe, as an educator and advocate for deaf learners, I know issues dealing with sign language, issues dealing with advocating for the deaf learners is not something that everybody can do or people can talk about it. As per you, what do you think, or rather what really made you be an educator and an advocate of deaf learners?
Okay, professionally, I'm a trained teacher. Then when I started off my career, after some years, I felt the gap. Then in me, I just felt I really needed to do special education. Reason being, I always have a soft spot for people with disabilities. So when I did my training at the Kenya Institute of Special Education, and then I did I specialized in what we call the inclusive education. And then later, in the inclusive education, it so happened that you are able to learn in all areas of disabilities. Yeah. Then along the way, I felt now sign language is the thing to go for. And then I felt I'd be able to be a good advocate for these learners. And that's how I ventured into it. People are saying, oh, it is difficult, it is what, but I said, no, I'll have to go for it. Because I felt in me that burden of helping these learners who have special needs, and more so the deaf. And that's how I went to it. I went back and did my certificate course, then I started off. Then I applied with the Teacher Service Commission, and I was deployed to the special unit. You
mean you are a teacher with profession?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
wow,
I'm a teacher.
Amazing.
I'm a teacher professionally. I've taught for the last 29 years. Yes. So, but for the deaf, I've taught for the last 13 years. Okay. So I've been with them. So I've been an advocate, and I enjoy it, especially when you see these learners coming to you without the language. And then after a month or two, they start signing at that tender age, because when they leave home, they come to school, they have no language. Because in most cases, you realize the parents don't have the language. So the parents use gestures. Maybe they just point, they point. But when they come to us, we now start giving them the vocabularies. Yes, so it's a joy to see them doing it. So I enjoy advocating for them, even in their education, even in the school setup. It is something that I feel everybody should even try and do it.
Yeah, you're talking about inclusivity. That is really amazing.
Yes,
Wow,
yes,
amazing.
yes.
Now, when you talk about International Day for Sign Languages, and actually it is not just sign language, it's
Yes,
sign
languages.
And if I may ask about sign languages, is sign language universal or is it different in the different countries?
Okay, many people might think that sign language is universal. Yes, maybe we have some signs that might look the same, like the American and the Kenyan. There are some signs that you'll see the Kenyan borrows maybe from the American, and even the letters of the alphabet when finger spelling. But for sign language, to me, every country has its own sign language. That is why they are given those specific names. Kenyan Sign Language, American Sign Language, Ugandan Sign Language. Because if it was universal, I think it just been given maybe a different name like sign languages for that. But you know, because it's regional, Kenyan Sign Language, because there are some variations and uniqueness in the Kenyan Sign Language, yes. And then also, even within the country itself, you'll realize that we have variations. There are some signs that we use in Nairobi that might not apply to a person maybe in Moranga. For example, I want to believe if I talk of carrying water, in our western region, you carry water like this. So when I go to central region, maybe they carry like this. Yeah. So when I sign to the deaf that I'm carrying water there, maybe they might not really connect with it. Okay. Yes. So every country has a way, and we have variations. And I don't think sign language is so much universal.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll come to that one, and I'd like to say that we are here with, Diana is here with us, and we're really happy to have her. Diana Kamau, the director and the founder of Sign Language School Hub, known as Sleek Hub. Good morning, Diana.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm doing good. What about you?
I'm very fine, thank you.
Jam imekuwa kali.
Jam imekuwa kali.
Ukakosa
Hapa
parking.
university we. There is some graduation happening today.
Oh,
yeah, so there is a lot of jam. Yes,
wow. But
I'm
at least
sorry.
finally
I'm here.
Wow, that's really amazing.
Thank
you. We were just discussing about the sign language being universal or being different. But before we come to that one, I would like us maybe for you to help us understand more about Sleek. Why did you start the Sleek Hub, the Sign Language School Hub, or rather this mission? What really inspired you?
Thank you so much for that. For Sleek, sign language is cool. Most people actually think when you're saying is cool, like it's a school. No, it is not a school. It's cool, kiboko yao. The reason as to why sign language is cool came by is because we saw a need of sign language. And there, of course, because of the attitude and the stigma issues, most people, even up to now, we are still dealing with such stigma that sign language is only for the deaf. Okay. And it is not only for the deaf, it is for everyone. So for us, our approach for sign language is actually for the hearing community. Because for inclusion to truly happen when it comes to inclusive communication, you need sign language to be spoken by others. Yeah. So that's actually why we call it a cool language, just to ensure there's some association even with the hearing community, so that we can be able to preach that gospel very well in the in the hearing community. Okay. Yes.
And before you joined us, I asked Osimbe about why or what really inspired her to be an educator and an advocate at the same time for the deaf learners. You yourself have started the Sleek Hub, the Sign Language is Cool Hub, the mission. What really, what made you to take up this role?
For me, it's something that truly got me in a way that I also did not expect. Because meeting a deaf person, I had never met them before, my first encounter. And I remember at some point I was in the university then, those were so many, like almost 20 years ago, meeting them somewhere. Actually, I saw them at Kenco. And being a communication student, because that's my background, I really wanted to know what is it that is happening. And right about that point, there was a burden in my heart. And so I actually got near where they were. Of course, I couldn't understand anything. And that was actually the very conception of my desire of sign language. Of course, you know, as a journalist and in that area, there's so much of wanting to know what is this, what is this. So that is the one thing that actually pulled me to sign language. And within 2 weeks or so, I was already in a class learning sign language. Now, and getting to understand more of the deaf culture. And inside the culture now is when you realize, wow, there's a lot that there was, you know, there was a lot that needed to be done. And right about then, Slick was born that way.
Okay. Oh, that's really amazing story. You know, we were talking about the universal. Sign language, you said it varies in different countries. We know that German, if maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, Germany is universal, right? We have French universal, the different languages. We can also have Kiswahili language not being universal in terms of the Eastern African communities, because there are some words which differ in maybe Tanzania and in Kenya, or maybe in Uganda if they're using the language. But do you think, or maybe according to my research I can say that Kenyan Sign Language is not a national or official language, but it is constitutionally recognized and protected for use by persons with disabilities. And they say that the state is required to promote its development and use. Now we're talking about the use of sign language. As per you, let me start with you, Madam Osimbe. Do you think it should be universal?
Yes, if possible, it should be universal. Because once it is universal, it, when a person who is deaf travels outside there, the communication will become easier. Yes, you don't have to go and start learning the sign language of the other country or the other. Yes, even when as an educator, if I train the learners who are deaf here, I should be able to go with the same signs to a different state, maybe to assist there. Yes, and when you do that, it becomes, I think, it should be universal. If possible, it should be universal.
Okay.
Yes.
Other than universal,
yes,
perhaps, do you think it should be made national, or rather nationalized, made official?
Yes.
That it's an official language?
Of course, yes. Okay. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Because when it's not nationalized, then the deaf people will miss out.
Okay.
Yes, it has to be nationalized. In fact, it should be a very strong policy that everywhere you step into, there should be sign language. Okay. Every organization should be told, make sure you train your workers. Because when the deaf people go to these offices or to the hospitals in court, they get stranded. Yes, they have to look for interpreters, which is also not easy, and it is expensive for them. Okay. Yes.
Maybe as per you, Diana, what do you think about that one?
Now, I love that question so much. So, because for Slick, the reason as to why it is sign language is cool is because it's a start of a movement. And this movement is for all of us to get to know sign language. Yes, there is a plus because it's already in the Constitution. There is another now work that I and others that are into to make the language very familiar, just the same way we do Swahili, you know. And when we talk of inclusion, what is inclusion? You know, it's bringing all of us together, and that there will be nothing that is a barrier. Like I like the theme for this year, for actually the International Day of Sign Languages, and it says that no human rights without sign language rights. Okay.
No human rights
without sign language rights. Yes. Okay. So if there is no access to information, if there is no access, you know, to them even developing, even career-wise, because we also have such issues. You know, when it comes to so many things, when it comes to the deaf community, then how will they now go to that further, you know, even for the children that we are really training the deaf child, how will they now get to higher heights if there's a restriction of communication?
Okay. And perhaps what are the challenges, the common challenges and the general challenges that the deaf community are facing when it comes to their daily life activities?
Having been in, you know, in their community and interacting with them and actually seeing what they go through is most of the time the barrier that they find is actually communication. And of course there's a lot of stigma also. Like myself, even when I'll go to speak to anyone and I start saying about sign language, there's already an attitude there, there's already a stigma right there. Because for them, when you talk of sign language, it's already associated, you know, with the deaf. And that is the kind of mindset that also this movement will be dealing with. Because whenever you get to know a language, it's a language just like any other. So if we pick sign language as a language as any other, then it will be very easy to correct the mindset. So, and some of the challenges that the deaf community go through will actually reduce, you know, and it will be very easy for them, you know, to go higher heights, you know, yes. Okay.
When you're talking about inspiration that led you guys to endeavor, or rather doing the sign language thing, what did you find interesting about sign language, Madam Osimbe?
Just realizing that these fingers, these hands have everything in it.
Okay.
Yes. It is so interesting that my hands can communicate everything, not just my mouth. That is, in fact, when you think about it, and especially when you are able to see to the person who is deaf and communicate well and understand each other. Wow.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
When you all are in the same level.
Yes.
Wow.
When you all are in the same level. That's the best. And you're
best
communicating, you're enjoying yourselves as you communicate. You are able to give them information. You are able to advocate for them. You are able to, it is beautiful. It's beautiful.
We should, tunafaa tutoe Kiswahili na Kizungu sasa. We start learning sign language and it be universal to everyone so that we can have to communicate well. Actually,
To interject right there. I was talking to a lady in one of the government institutions for education, and she mentioned that nowadays there's a lot of awareness when it comes to sign languages, rather KSL, and learners that are choosing, they're actually now dropping Kiswahili and doing sign language. So we're actually in the right path.
Okay.
Yes.
Hakutakuwa na kelele.
Hakutakuwa na kelele.
We're just using our hands to communicate.
Yes.
Okay, that's really amazing. Now, when we talk about, you've mentioned stigma like 2 times in different questions, but maybe to ask this one, what are the misconceptions about a sign language?
Most of people, whenever you mention of sign language, they see it as a very difficult language.
Okay.
A difficult language in a way that they cannot even comprehend, especially when it comes to the older, you know, the older people. And the other misconception is that it's a language for the deaf.
Okay.
And it's not a language only for the deaf. It is their language when it comes to, you know, even the communication and all that, but it should not, us who are hearing should not take it up as like it's a language only for the deaf. It is for everyone to learn. Okay. And when that mindset is out of us, then we are able to get in smoothly. Yes. Okay.
When you talk about the misconceptions and the stigma and everything, let me come to you, Madam Osimbe. How do you think we can break these stereotypes?
Wow, by ensuring that we communicate in sign language for us to understand. Because some misconceptions come out of ignorance. People don't really understand because they feel that this is just a language for the deaf. People feel that sign language is only for people maybe who have not gone to school. You know, there's so much that people are talking about. But when we make people aware and have a day like now, the deaf awareness, that will break. That will break, and also bring up policies to defend Kenyan Sign Language. Yes, we should advocate for better policies and make sure they work. Because you know, it's one thing to write the policy down, and it's another thing to make it work. So we should write it down and be active on it. Then all these misconceptions will fade away.
Okay.
Yes.
When we talk about ignorance, let me come to you, Madam Diana. About the misconceptions, the stigma and everything. Do you have parents who are reluctant in educating the parents who have a person with disability in the house, the hearing impaired, to take them to school or something like that?
Oh, the experience in that area, and especially Madam here will be able even to explain further because they're with the parent themselves. What we have seen, even from our interactions in schools, there's a lot of challenges when it comes to families where we have the deaf child. Because remember, this parent or these parents are, you know, this was maybe a first experience of some sort. So they got a child who is deaf at that particular point. And growing up, of course, they'll use their language, the one that they'll just initiate at home for you know, for easy communication. But now after that child goes to school, they meet different sign, which is now the KSL. So at that particular point, this parent has no idea of KSL. So when it comes to communication again, and also pulling up the education literacy and level for that child becomes very difficult, because even the community that surrounds them do not know sign language. So they only learn it in school, but when they go to at home, there's nothing. I always like to tell a story and an imagination of us who are hearing. Our children get to learn even ABCD when they are 2 years. When it comes to the deaf child, is totally different, because the parents, number one, they do not know KSL. They are not in a position whereby they can introduce even that ABC and 1, 2, 3, you know, to 10 to their children, and so they engage with that much later. Your child goes to school maybe 3 years, 4 years. Them, they will start school at 7, 8, or even 10. There's even a case of 20-something years, and they're getting to PP1. That's when they're getting to PP1. There's a lot.
Is it that the parents did not realize that the child cannot speak or cannot hear?
Sometimes you see there's a lot of stigma. So they also want to hide. There are those ones that, of course, will be, you know, there will be a lot of, you know, ignorance into that, and maybe still hope. You know, as a parent, you have to keep on hoping my child will be good, you know. At the same time, they do not know what to do. They don't know what to do with the child. So most of the time, when it comes to the parent, those are some of the challenges that they go through. Yes.
Madam Osembe,
yes.
Diana said,
just to add on what you're saying, because I always like saying also that learning to a learner who is deaf is not automatic.
Yes.
Why am I saying so? It's because when a child who is hearing passes somewhere, this child is able to perceive some information, because whether he or she has looked at it, but through the years, the child is able to know this and this is happening in Kenya, or this and this is happening within the world. But for a deaf child, if you can't take that child and explain, this child might not know that information. Because this is a 4-year-old who can hear, this is a 4-year-old who is deaf. The 4-year-old who can hear has information because he or she has heard it even without anybody saying, but because amesikiliza. But this child who is deaf has to depend on somebody to give that information, the same information. So if nobody gives the information, then that knowledge is not there. Yes.
And Diana said you have the first-hand information, or rather the first-hand experience, like you interact with the parents who have deaf kids in their homes.
Yes.
How has the experience been for you?
The experience has been tough.
Okay.
Though with time, the parents come to accept. But I've had situations whereby a parent comes, then he or she tells you, don't you think this child will come to speak one day? Don't you think this child will hear one day? Or the parent insists, I think mtoto anasikia kidogo. Naona ni kama you. But you see, as a teacher, I have to have that wisdom.
Okay.
And unamwambia, okay, yeah, don't worry. You know, you have to encourage these parents. Some of them even come crying because they feel and ask themselves. Some of them even their marriages are broken because of this child who is deaf. So you see, you have to really know how to handle them. So the other thing is that when they come, you encourage them to do sign language. Because another experience I've had is that when this child grows up, the parents have no sign language. They end up bringing back some problems to you as the educator. Please help me. I feel this child is being rude. Then when you start now doing your own research with the child, you realize not rudeness. It's communication barrier. But you find again, the parents have a very negative attitude. I'm sorry to say. Some of them don't even want to learn sign language. They'll sit back and tell you it is very expensive. They'll sit back and tell you ni ngumu sana. They'll sit back and tell you, mimi siwezi ipata. Hiyo ni ngumu sana. But again, at the end of the day, unahurumia mtoto. Because this child, at the end of the day, will go back home to the parent. When you give assignments, most of the time they come back with the assignments without being done. Because yes, you gave directions as the educator. But when the child goes home, there's no that follow-up. Nobody cares. Because there's no one to even, maybe the parent is willing to try and help. But because of the communication block, the child comes back to you again.
Okay.
Yes, so it's challenging.
It's intriguing.
Yes.
Anyways, let me cut you to that. I want us to take a short break.
Yes.
We still have another time.
Yes.
We can fully discuss. And maybe to leave a question to our viewers is, if it were you, which language do you think it would have been best that everyone should learn? With that one, let's take a short break. Stay tuned.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
Enyi mlioamini, munapoitwa kuhudhuria swala ya Ijumaa, fanyeni haraka kuikimbilia, muache biashara zenu, hilo ni bora ikiwa mwelewa.
Isikilizeni kwa umakinifu khutba ya Ijumaa
ili uzidi kujenga imani yako na kupata faida nyingi ya siku hii.
Coming to you every Friday from Jamia Mosque, Nairobi.
Live on Horizon TV.
Kitabu chenye uongofu kilichoteremshwa kwa mpangilio maalum.
Sura ikiitwa Madania inamaanisha iliteremshwa Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam alipokuwa kwa Madina.
Kila sura imepewa jina rasmi na sababu zake za kimsingi.
Inaitwa Suratun Nisa'il Kubra, sura ya wanawake kubwa.
Fahamu sababu za kuteremshwa Qur'an na matukio ya kipekee katika utaratibu huu.
Asema Mwenyezi Mungu wa Nuha, nakumbukeni kisa cha Nuh, tumpomlingania kabla, tukamjibu yale mambo aliyoyaomba, tukawa mwenye kumwokoa yeye na ahli yake.
Ungana na Profesa Muhammad Salim Badamana katika malengo ya Qur'an kila siku ya Jumapili saa 11 kamili jioni katika Horizon TV.
قال تعالى في محكم تنزيله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Inasaha kutoka pwani.
هذا الدين قال الله قال الرسول قال الصحابة هم أولو العرفان. انتهى.
Ili kuongoza kwenye njia iliyonyoka.
Sikizeni hadithi hii ya Mtume alayhi salatu wasalam. Hakuna atakayeweza kumfungia mtu mlango ambaye Mwenyezi Mungu aliyemfungulia.
Kuimarisha imani yako.
ثبت قلوبنا على دينك وعلى طاعتك.
Ungana na mashekhi wetu kutoka pwani kwenye mimbar.
Mimbar zinamwakilisha Mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Ni Jumamosi na wakati saa 3 usiku katika Horizon TV, runinga uipendayo. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back and thank you so much for keeping it at Horizon TV. We are continuing with our conversation on International Day for Sign Languages. And before we took a short break, we were discussing about the challenges the deaf community or the people are facing, or rather what people think about the sign language. And we looked at it, and Madam Kaibe told us that many people say it's expensive, many people say it's hard. And now, all this said, let me come to you, Madam Diana.
Yes.
As SLIC, or Sign Language is Cool Hub, what are you guys doing to ensure that this misconception or this mentality that sign language is hard, sign language is expensive, what are you guys doing to ensure that you curb this mentality?
Okay, as I had mentioned before, this is a movement, and that's why we called it Sign Language is Cool, just for it to seem cool, not even to seem, it is cool. And with the coolness and factor, we'll be able to attract so many, you know, in the movement, who are now the hearing community. And with that, we have so much hope, and the way the awareness of sign language is going, then we actually headed in a very right and good direction. Now, when it comes to sign language being expensive, yes, for sure it is. But what we are doing with in Slick Hub is we have a program called Lugha Ishara Mashinani. So we are taking sign language to mashinani. Okay. Meaning, and we are very intentional to partner with religion, with the churches, with the mosque, you know, where we can be, where we actually get, you know, a gathering. Why? Because there is also need for disability inclusion, you know, in the religion, in the religion, you know, sector. And so once we have that kind of partnership, then we are able to reduce some of the costs when it comes to teaching. So that's our approach. So we are taking Lugha Ishara Mashinani. We're actually going to Mashinani, and soon and very soon you'll start hearing us in your Mashinani place.
Okay,
towns, yes.
Can't wait to have you. And you know, International Day for Sign Language. There must be something, or rather an event, to celebrate this day. As Slick, what's there for the celebration of this year's International Day for Sign Language?
Yes, the International Day of Sign Languages came by in 2023, and that's how old the sign language spelling bee is. Okay. Because we started in 2023 to celebrate the International Day of Sign Languages. We have been doing it from 2023, last year, and even this year. So we are having that event, and we usually have 2 editions. So we have the school edition, and we have what we call Mtaani edition. Okay. So the school edition is purely for schools, it's for learners. When it comes to Mtaani, that's now where the community and the larger community comes in. And Madam Kaibe had already spoken about, you know, corporates, you know, organizations, and, you know, such setups get to know sign language. Those that have already learned about it, they have now a platform to where they'll come in, you know, and even challenge themselves when it comes to sign language. It's usually a very fun event, and it's a very good event whereby we are able to interact in sign language. Now, the very most beautiful thing is seeing the children, because we bring forth the deaf child and the hearing child together. This is not for them to compete. We actually don't do the like for them to feel that we are competing between the deaf child and the hearing child. No, it's if I'm asking, is this letter A? What letter is this, or what picture is this? I'll ask the deaf child and the hearing child at the same time. Because remember, the sign language, the deaf child, the sign language, it's their language. Okay. For the hearing child, they're learning the language. So there's a lot of balancing when it comes to that. Yes. Okay.
And as an educator and advocate for deaf learners, what's your role in this event, that the spelling bee and sign language Mtaani?
Okay, my role is I'm in the committee for the Slick. Okay. And I'll be one of the judges. Yes. Okay. Yeah, just to make sure everything is balanced. Because I have experience of the learner who is deaf, and I have experience of the learner who is not deaf.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And to mention maybe about this event, the spelling bee.
Yes.
We have the day which is on 23rd next week on Tuesday.
Yes.
Is there something that Slick is doing to ensure that this day is really taken care of, or rather is being used accordingly?
Thank you for that question once more. Yes. On 23rd, actually internationally, that's when every country need to celebrate the International Day of Sign Languages, and because it's falling on a weekday, especially when it comes to events to do with school, we cannot be able to have any, during the week because we don't want to interrupt, the learning. And that's why now when you're looking into which date, because it's a weekend too, the International Day of Sign Languages. So that's why we put it on 20th, which will be on a Saturday, and also 21st, which is on a Sunday. So for the 20th, will be the school edition, because at that particular point now we are able to get more schools participate. When it comes to Mtaani, now that one we have put it on a Sunday. We are still growing Mtaani because this year will be a second edition for it. We want to actually devolve both of them, the school and the Mtaani, so that we are able to reach other counties. However, for this particular one, we have different counties that come forth, schools in different counties, and we have gone growing. I think this year we shall be having 7 counties represented. So, and there are those counties that are so far that they cannot be able to get here. So at least we can be able to take it to their, to their counties, or a county that will be able to pull those other counties. Now, this year's event will be at the University of Nairobi, and at this particular point, we want to thank, the University of Nairobi, because they will be the second hosts, the second time hosts this year, because they're still the same people that hosted us last year.
Wow, that's really amazing. And do you know that tomorrow is the 20th?
Yes, it's tomorrow. It's actually tomorrow. Oh my God!
This weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
It's this weekend. It's this weekend.
Okay. And coming to you, Madam Kaibe, what's the significance of celebrating this day in creating awareness of the challenges that the deaf community are facing?
Okay. The significance of this is that it will break the stereotype.
Okay.
This stereotype of sign languages for the deaf only will go away. Because now you see he's talking about Mtaani, that is involving the public.
Yeah.
Yes. So when these people come and learn and do whatever they are going to do, whatever activities, one, it's going to bring inclusion. That attitude also, because definitely we have the attitude of the hearing people towards the deaf towards the hearing. But when you bring them together, then they end up learning each other. And us who are hearing will learn more about the deaf culture and be able to know how to deal with the deaf. When this day comes also, it is a way of creating more awareness of how to live with the deaf in the society.
Okay.
Yes, because before, maybe, if you see, when they come and again we learn sign language, there is that what do we call it? You'll realize that people used to fear the deaf. Me being one of them. When I was young, I think there was a man who used to come to our house. This man was deaf. I tell you, I would not enter that room when he's there. My dad is not there. The man has come to visit. I close the door and stay outside.
Okay.
Because of fear. And I'm sure even now there are some people who fear that. Because there are some people when they see the deaf, they run away. But when this is done and that advocacy continues and continues, it brings the public to speed.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. And Madam Diana,
Yes.
you know, a good example is the sign language interpreter that we have here with us, interpreting what you are saying. It doesn't mean that she cannot hear us. She's doing the interpretation because she's hearing us, right? And to my question is, what are the key benefits a person like her, a person like me who can hear and communicate through the word of mouth get?
Now, if you can remember, I mentioned something to do with mindset. The minute you interact with sign language, and we actually do not want you to interact in a way that you will become an interpreter. We just want you to interact with the basics. The minute you interact with sign language and the basics actually is even the alphabets, A to Z, and you're able to, you know, to finger spell your name. At that particular point, not realizing it, but we have worked on your mindset, just right there. And the minute you interact with sign language, those that have done that, it is very hard for, for them to actually pull out. Number two is that when it comes to sign language, it's a skill by itself. Just like the interpreter, she has found a career in that. The other thing is when it comes also to that which I'm talking about, the mindset. The mindset, once we deal with the mindset and the attitude, then we are welcoming inclusivity. And it's what we call disability inclusion. So, and we'll be able to get to understand how does this world look like? What are some of the things that we need to do? Because when you learn, this is what I tell people, even as I'm speaking to them, is that when you learn sign language and you work on the mindset, it is not only for the deaf. It will be even for other kinds of disability. And you'll be able to welcome and get to know how to deal with them and not fear.
Oh, amazing. And there is one question that I left it with my viewers to tell me their views. Let me pose the questions to you. The question to you, Madam Osimbe.
Yes.
I'll come to you, Diana. Don't worry. If there is a language that you think should be universal, you think that everyone should learn, you yourself should learn, which language do you think, and why?
Kenyan Sign Language.
Okay.
Yes, I'm hearing, and I have more advantage than this deaf person. So if everybody learns the sign language, because you see, when we use only communication without sign language, we are leaving out this deaf person.
Yes.
Because as we can talk, we can laugh, we can do what we want to do, we can communicate but we leave out. But when we all learn sign language, we have already included this deaf person. So life will be smooth. Nobody will communicate, will not be communicated to. So as we speak, let us also use sign language to be an advantage to the deaf person. Yes.
And maybe about you, Diana, what do you think?
Hey, for me, you see, I'm already in it. And this is a movement that we actually pushing so hard without tiring. For me, when it comes to, true inclusion, there should we should not have anything, especially when it comes to communication, being a barrier. So if this is a barrier, and us who are hearing can be able to learn it, why should we allow the barrier? Let's learn Kenya Sign Language.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if you guys have encountered this, or maybe you've observed, or maybe you guys have been doing it. When we say sign language is really hard, and sometimes when you see people on call, you see them like they're using hand gestures, like wewe fanya hivi na hivi, like you're just using the hands, you know. And at one point, there are some signs that, or rather the gestures, our hand gestures that we use are correct in terms of sign language, right?
Yes.
Anyways, and something else is about sign language. I know in most schools, the group of schools, the academic, yani those different schools, we have the different languages that they are being taught. We have German in school, we have French in school, even other languages. When we talk about sign language, I've not seen it, or rather being talked about it in schools. As per your opinion, Should sign language be incorporated in the school system, in the education system, as something that not optional but something
compulsory.
that, yeah.
Okay, at the moment we'll say some schools are doing it. Some schools are doing it, and because now there is an option, can either pick maybe Kiswahili or Kenyan Sign Language. But it would be good to be made just the way they do mathematics or other subjects that are compulsory.
Yeah.
The way they learn Kiswahili as compulsory. Let it also be done. So that it's not optional. Just learn it, even if it's just the basics, to be able to. Because if everybody learns sign language, I'm telling you, life for the deaf people will be good. Because they'll not be stranded anywhere. Because the public knows it. Yes.
Okay.
So we are happy that the KICD, the Ministry of Education, is, some students are doing sign language, the hearing students. Yes, there are some schools have taken it up as their indigenous language. Yes.
We've mentioned about inclusivity and balancing of communication, as per you, Madam Diana. And what's the benefit, or rather, what impact will it create if both the hearing and the deaf person communicate via sign language?
Now that we are talking of inclusion, we are talking of the communication barrier, being out completely. And maybe to add on what Madam Kaibe here has spoken about when it comes to schools, for Slick Hub, we have Slick clubs. We had mentioned about sign language being hard. So when you interact with most of these hearing schools, schools with hearing children, let's just call them that, regular schools, they find sign language as a very difficult language. And so just to ensure that there is some kind of introduction of the language in the school, we have started with the Slick clubs. So that we initiate Slick clubs, and there are other schools, especially like the ones that have deaf units. The teachers now have been able to actually come up and train the hearing learner in the school, so that there can also be some kind of interaction with the deaf child and and the hearing one, just within the school environment. So these are clubs that we are initiating in different schools. And any school we go to, you find there's a lot of change, even when it comes to, nowadays there are inclusive schools, and there is so much encouragement into having inclusive school, and that's the direction actually even the nation, and the world is going to having inclusive schools. And sign language will be one of the tools that will be able to enable the inclusive education.
Okay.
Yes.
Something else is about the technology. How can technology bridge the gap between sign language users and non-signers? Madam Osimbe.
Okay. Through interpreters. Because as she's doing now, that is bridging a gap.
Okay.
Because what we are talking about is being shown on TV. So that is a way of bridging that gap.
Okay.
And again, technology can be used to bridge the gap by captioning whatever is being done without an interpreter. At least let there be some captions to explain what is happening. Yes, I think because when we ignore such things, these are crucial issues. And every time, let us always remember to remember the deaf. Because sometimes they are forgotten. That one is a fact. And us who now are in the field, they are the first thing you'll realize, what about the deaf child? What about this and this? So it is good to have that captioning. And maybe, Madam Diana, anything?
What is actually coming in mind is about the social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if there is a platform and where the world is going to and where we should be able to maximize on is when it comes to social media. So when we talk of social media, then we are talking about content. And we should be able to come up with, legit, because there are those ones that actually go, to social media, but the kind of language that they are using, and especially you'll find the deaf community truly, complaining, is the content that we bring up. Let's try and not even try. Let's just use the word try, because at some point I'm such a big, drive. Let's do it, not trying. Let's just do it. Is the sign language content and including it, and especially when it comes to the hearing, like for myself, talking and also signing at the same time. That will be. It's actually a very cool thing. To do.
With a few words, perhaps you can tell us your last take for the people, or to the people who are watching us right now. Let me start with you, Diana, then I'll come to you, Madam.
Sign language is cool. Nothing more, nothing less. It is a cool language. Let's learn it. Let's express love, because by also loving it, by also learning sign language is also an expression of love. And this love, you cannot talk of love if we are not all included. So let's learn it, let's interact. Come to the event tomorrow, for those that are there tomorrow, and on Sunday, we will be there waiting for you. Yes.
And you, Madam Osimbe?
Yeah, to the public, general public, let's learn sign language. To the educators, let's start sign language clubs in our schools. And because even now in the Kenya Music Festival and drama festivals, yes, we have poems where there is one class that either you teach the deaf with the hearing or the hearing alone. So why don't we venture into that? Because it's a way of teaching sign language and even changing attitude. And you see, when you go to the festivals, you realize the learners who are hearing are doing pretty well in sign language. Yes. Wow. So we should all embrace it.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I think up to that, we have talked a lot, and I truly appreciate you guys coming here.
Thank you so much.
It was really an amazing conversation. Yes. I don't have much to say, or rather add anything to that, but I'll say something that has already been said, and I believe that the message is home and dry. Sign language is cool. Not just the hub, but the sign language itself is cool. Until next Friday, my name is Zamzam Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.